When I say estate planning, you probably just think of a will, right? Either that or you roll your eyes and say, girl, I don't have time to deal with that right now, but it is part of adulting. You know that. And it should be something we should all think about. Here to help us sort it all out, Shane Jasmin Young of Young Law Group. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm sure some of your clients walk in and they're like, I don't really need this, right?
Yes, I do. I definitely get that a lot, where people don't think that they have assets, for example, to where they need an estate plan. But really, anyone over 18 should have an estate plan in place. And like you said, a lot of times people think of a will when they think of estate planning. And a will does deal with the disposition of your assets, but it doesn't address other things.
Yeah, and so a will is just a very small part of it. So what is estate planning in your eyes from a legal perspective?
So estate planning really is having a comprehensive plan in place. Right. And it covers really a lot of different contingencies beyond just what happens to your assets when you die.
My diamond ring goes to my niece, but it's so much more than that.
It's so much more than that. It includes what happens if you become incapacitated, what happens if you're disabled, so who's making financial decisions for you, who's able to get access to your bank accounts, who's making medical decisions for you, who's able to talk to your doctors. And then even beyond those decisions, it's also if you have minor children, who is in the right place to be able to step in and be guardians for your children.
And I understand if you don't have a plan, like most people think like, oh, it just goes to my husband or whatever. If you don't have a plan, you're really leaving it up to a judge to decide for you.
Right. And that's why it's so important to do planning beyond, to have a plan in place, number one, and then also to have comprehensive plannings where you're actually making the decisions ahead of time while you're alive and while you're well.
So what are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to do estate plan?
The common mistakes are, number one, we mentioned it, is people don't have a plan at all. They don't think they need a plan, or they think they have a plan and it actually is not going to work the way that they intend. Another common thing is that they think that they have a will and so their estate plan is done.
I'm good.
Right. And that's totally untrue. So a will, like I said, it doesn't deal with the situation of if you're disabled or incapacitated. And Courtney, you might be surprised to find this out, but a will doesn't keep you out of probate. So your family, if you only have a will, your family will actually end up in court. And you may remember a few weeks ago, the Pawn Star's father passed away, and it was all over the news, where he left his will, he left his estate to other people outside of his son. He disinherited his son, and his will was actually made public, and that was how the news and everybody got it, because he had to go through the court system.
Oh my goodness. And the biggest key, don't do it yourself. You really need a legal expert. No matter how many assets you think you have or don't think you have, it really is good to get some legal advice. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. And the Young Law Group has a great offer for our viewers. For the first 5 callers, you'll get a free family wealth planning session. Guys, that is a $750 value, plus $250 off any planning services beyond that. That's $1,000 in free legal services. You never hear about that. So give them a call right now, 702-835-9212. You can also get more information at younglawnv.com.